Got it.
Hell, we done missed what, 2 weeks?
I don't know how many weeks.
I know we missed last week for sure. I think we missed the week before too.
Yeah, because we did that. We did the community thing.
We
didn't do one the week we did our community show.
We sure did. Yep. I knew some was. Maybe that's why this week has been so long for me, man. It's like, man.
And it's like when you get used to doing a show, you're like, all right, man. And there's like stuff we want to talk about. And I'm like, I ain't gonna call Ron because we might talk about it on the show.
Right. Yeah. But we are live.
We are live. I'm trying to find you on YouTube, so I might be able to see a comment or two.
So they be hating on me, so the notifications don't be. Yeah, they kind of be hating a little bit.
They hating on the boy.
They hate, man. So, man, I find people be watching the playback like, man, I didn't even know you went up. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Hey, what we gonna do?
But no, me and Uncle just talking about earlier, man. Our sincerest apologies for I know we were trying to do a weekly thing, but this is kind of the ordeal about like why we don't put a specific time or day or anything like that. So of course 2 weeks ago we were involved with the community live. So shout out to Cigar Show Tim for inviting us both on. We had Kevin from Cigar Prop, Adam Swanson over at Swanson Cigar Reviews. Of course, me and Lee Mack were there. We had a good time. And then last week we just had life going on, so that's why we weren't up. But Unc reached out to me a couple days ago, and I'm glad he did. So we got to make it a point to get back on this weekly grind. So we are very happy to be here. Unc, what you been up to today?
Oh man, I'm chilling. And listen, I'm trying not to overmodulate my microphone because I get a little bit loud and we get a little bit distorted, and I ain't figured out the mic stuff, but I'm chilling. We had a big Labor Day party. My wife said I want to have our picnic, and I was like, I don't want to have a picnic because I know how much work it is. And I think after it was over, I literally was decompressing and down for a couple of days. That's why I told you, I said, I feel like I'm catching the flu or a cold or something. I'm just exhausted. I get up and go back to bed. So tonight, I ain't going to be smoking because my nephew told me, hey, listen, take a couple of days off of smoking and hydrate. So I'm taking a couple of days off of smoking and I'm hydrating with a little Colonel E.H. Taylor.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's one of my favorites. I'm drinking me some old Parker's Heritage today, some heavy char. So I'm in the triple digits with you this evening too, but yeah,
I like it. What you been up to, Ron? I know today you said earlier everybody wanted to go to the damn hospital.
Mm-hmm. It's been crazy for us the past 2 months. Now that we got the other strand going on now, but the Delta variant is just been. I think everybody that's working in healthcare right now, it's just been nonstop, and then. We've been having some mandatory overtime stuff going on now too, so it's just been running on like 200. It feels like been running for like 200 miles per hour for a couple of months. So it's like pretty much when I'm not at work and I don't have the kids with me, I'm trying to nap or trying to relax or trying to decompress some kind of way. So not too much though, man. Now that I haven't been recording as many videos, been really trying to keep a low profile. Now I will say this too. I talked to Eric today, and Sunday we're going to try to get some shooting done too. So
nice.
Try to have some content out at some point too. I think he misses it as much as I do. Not saying cigar reviews, but just recording content in general.
Listen, I don't give a damn what y'all do and what y'all record. You can record Little Mary Had a Little Lamb with Quincy. We miss you out there. We miss Eric, man. And just the vibe that y'all have. So it'll be good to see y'all back, even if only for a short while. So, yeah, come on back. Hey, Eric, come on, man. Hey, come on,
Eric may be, I told him we were going up today. So he may be tuning in, but he misses it a lot too. And, he's been going through a lot of personal stuff too, as I
know.
But, I'm glad you said that too, because it's even with me not recording a lot of content. And like I told him on the phone today, I said, it's still, it's kind of goes back to when me and the group were talking to you about a specific person. And so I say that to say this, like, it's really hard to cut off a switch sometimes if something has been a part of your life for a substantial amount of time. So me and Erica, this has been kind of our blood, sweat, and tears. We've been putting our all into this for almost 2 years. So it's hard to turn the switch off. And I know he misses it as much as I do, and he gets probably more comments of people. There's a lot of people on our job that watch the channel too, and they're like, "Man, how's Raw's channels going?" He's like, we haven't been shooting and stuff too. So I think he kind of thinks about that too.
But you know what though? It's just like this will be the third week that I haven't driven the truck. I went down this week and cranked it up. Mm-hmm. So you think that you forget, and you think that it's going to feel brand new, or you forget. But it's like, man, once you hop back on that horse, it'll be just like you never left it. You'll be like, okay, now I remember what we did. Now I know why we're here. So
right.
So that's it. So, hey, listen, we miss you, but, like we were talking about also, like getting those negative people and those influences out of your life. You was the one to talk to me about it. It's like, man, some of the people I stopped watching and some of the nonsense that I stopped putting into my psyche, I don't even miss them no more. In fact, I almost can't remember their names. I said that in the video recently, like, well, what was that guy's name? I don't even remember him. Right. But you know what? One name I do remember though, my man AD, the cigar man. I see you out there, nephew. I was listening to my man Star the other week. I was listening. He says, "Yeah, shout out to Ed, the cigar man." I said, "What?" Big time, man. I see you, AD.
Shout out to my brother, man. Like I said, I know you guys been holding it down. I know you've been doing your thing. Cowboy, of course, putting in work too. Also, too, man, I don't know if a lot of people are watching right now who's going to catch the playback, but if you aren't subscribed to Cowboy, I think he's only like 40 or 50 away from 1,000. Do us both a favor and go subscribe to Cowboy. Get him to 1,000, man. There's a lot of people that are over that threshold that, in my opinion, don't deserve it, honestly. And I think Cowboy is one of those people because that's a milestone that's really huge for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I
think he deserves it.
And Cowboy is such a solid dude, man. It's like I was saying in my video, Matt Bailey went out there, said, they hooked up, went down to Montrese. He said, had a good time. Cowboy took care of them. They had a good time hanging out together. I said, that's what it's all about. Those are the kind of cigar people that I want to hang out with.
Right.
All this other controversy and whatever, I'm going to let y'all have that over there. I want to hang out with the good dudes. Just like when I went out to Kansas City, my man Aaron Brooks, he came down, scooped me up, did the same thing. It's like, I got you. You here, you in town. Let me show you my town. Somebody that I never met before. So that's the same way with Cowboy and Matt, So we all got to hang out with our good people. I got to go down there and hang out with my man, Mystical Jet. That's what I got to go hang out with, the Mystical Jet. But I gotta buy some finer threads before I go down there with Mystical.
You already gonna have a fragrance. You already got a fragrance too.
I'm gonna have a fragrance, but I can't go down there half stepping.
No. And I think I saw Rob in the chat too. Shout out to my brother Rob, Fragrance Journey 01 too.
Oh, shout out to you, Rob.
Yeah, man. I know you. Well, we follow each other on Instagram, but I know a lot of. It's actually kind of weird. I've been getting a lot more comments or private messages about fragrances, and I always tell people I don't really know a whole lot about them, but Rob is one of the guys I follow. He has a YouTube channel too, so check out Fragrance Journey 01 if you haven't.
Fragrance Journey 01. Hey, listen, speaking of fragrances, so today I ordered that sample of the tobacco from Dior.
Man, listen, man, I know Rob is listening or gonna catch the playback. And this is a problem that I have. He always tells me, you have enough bottles now where you don't need 100 mils of everything. I can't help it.
I don't need 100 mils. So I'm not big balling like you. So I'm gonna go with the little 3 mil punk sample. That's what I'm getting, a little 3 mil punk sample.
Yep.
And the other one I got was the replica by the fireplace, the eau de toilette.
Fire. I like by the fireplace, and I would say that I think the community, the frag community, I think probably leans more towards that over Jazz Club. I'm one of the guys that prefers Jazz Club over it, but I like by the fireplace. It's a very. So did you get? So I'm guessing you got a chance to go to Sephora and smell it.
I did not. I blind buy on that one because
that's another thing they tell you. They say don't blind buy. I said, man, I'm sorry, man, I can't help it. I get to read these notes, and I'm like, man, yeah, I like vanilla. I like Tonka Bean. I like such. Yeah, let me go on and blind by this.
Well, see, that was how I ended up with that Jaguar Black. I went and I read the fragrance notes, and I was like, and it was like 3.4 mils or whatever it was, and it was like $16.95 with the coupon. I was like, give me that.
Yep. Which is funny. So earlier today, I was wearing Mancera's Gold Prestigium, which is I really like that one a lot. I got that in probably close to a week ago, so I've been wearing that a lot. And I'd be glad when the weather cools off, because I'm gonna be able to pull out some really nice stuff. But today or right now, I'm just wearing a real cheapy, man. For anybody that's out there on YouTube, Nautica Voyage. Very simple. You can get this 100 mil for like $15, $16, and it's just a very inoffensive, nice smelling. You like we've talked about before. You're not gonna walk around anybody smelling like this and they think you smell bad. It's just It's just a very nice, easy. Because sometimes, I had a real problem the other day. I was going to work. I woke up, took my shower, and I went into my room where all my stuff is. And I sat there for a legit like 6 or 7 minutes trying to figure out what to put on. And that's when I knew at that point, I said, I got too much stuff. I got too much stuff, because I was just sitting there looking. I was like, I'm gonna wear that. Nah, I don't want to wear that. And I just kind of, all right, well, you got to pick something. You run out of time, and you got to get to work. So.
Yeah, but see, that's when you have like when you say like the ones that's like Lacoste and some other.
Unc, I think your headphones going out.
I
got you. You back.
All right. So I was saying, that's when I grab one of those easy sprays where, Lacoste or something that just boom, I'm good. I don't got to think about it. Yeah.
Right. But that's pretty much it. I'm trying to do. I'm gonna get a bottle of tobacco or two that I really like that, and I think one I'm glad I did sample though too is the Louis Vuitton Ombre Nomad. That I was telling Rob about that. I was telling him I really like the fragrance, but that's one of the ones for like 100. I think they only sell it in 100 and 200 mil, and it's only like the 100 mil is like 350 or something like that. And that's one of the ones where I would have blind bought it, and I would have been upset. I would have been upset for me spending that amount of money on that scent. Like, it's like I like the scent, but it's not worth this to me. Like,
right.
So. But I know we've been having some stuff going on. I know we talked about the Donda album that came out. Then we haven't talked, I think, since the Drake album released too.
Yeah.
And so we got that came out. And trying to think what else been going on.
The Andre 3 Stacks.
Andre 3000, man. We ain't heard from him in a long time. And guess what?
Yeah, man.
He's still good.
He is still good. I've been hearing the arguments that say he is probably the number 1 or number 2 rapper alive.
So I would say like everybody's gonna have their own opinion. I think a lot of it has to be so about the interview. Tyler, one of the most profound things Tyler said in that interview that he had with Hot 97 was reference points. It's a very relevant thing that he says, right? So where me or you might think Andre 3000's top 5, well, somebody that's out in California might not think that. They might put E40 or Spice One or somebody else up there, or somebody in New York may put Jadakiss or Biggie, so it's all a reference point. But what I was talking to a friend about was, for me, in my opinion, as far as down south MCs, and I was talking to Keelan about this too, our Vintage Cigars, me and him were talking about this maybe a week ago. For me, Scarface and Andre 3000 are in my top 5 Southern MCs. And I say that for me because I feel like as long as they've been doing it, they're very consistent, they're progressive, and it's like they don't miss on anything. They're very methodical. When they come out with something, it's going to be at the highest quality. They don't just put out.
But let me ask you this, though.
Yep.
Why they got to be qualified as Southern MCs?
I guess because I'm going to just say I'm a qualifying there because of their origin or where their roots are from, I guess. But for me, I think those two guys can stand up to anybody, period. But I was thinking like, and I maybe I'm categorizing it this way because I'm thinking like, all right, we could just say maybe top 5 all-time, period. Maybe we could say top 5 West Coast, top 5 up in the North, top 5 Southern. And so I think my mind, for whatever reason, just went over to, all right, well, if he ain't top 5 to you all time, well, let's look at your Southern MCs. And so in my mind, I'm like, all right, those two got to be in there. And for me.
So let me ask you this, right? So what makes a good MC in your mind?
For me, so for me, it's almost kind of like along the lines of what makes a good cigar reviewer or a good person. When I look for a good MC, and that's why I feel like for me, Kanye is really just excellent. Like I look at his integrity, and I say integrity or honesty because I feel like Kanye is pretty open. Or I'm sure we don't know everything, but he's very open in his music as far as telling us like his ups and downs, what's going on. Pretty much, if you pay attention to his lyrics for what it is and you listen to it, he tells you a lot. His creative ability, not only to perform lyrically on a track, but it also as far as his producing ability, and he's very consistent to me. I always equate really great artists in general, not even just hip hop artists, but maybe jazz musicians or alternative rock or blues or whatever it is. And like I always say the same people's names, but there's a reason why your Stevie Wonders, Prince, Michael Jackson, Madonna, Queen. There's a reason why these certain groups have sustained the test of time. Is because they're very consistent. They're always put out a high quality product, and they're not afraid to go out on a limb and show progression. Where I feel like a lot of times, same thing with a cigar reviewer, right? So we talk about, all right, well, if I'm watching videos from you 2 or 3 years ago, and they're essentially the same thing as I'm watching now, am I really seeing you grow as a person, or am I seeing your palate change? Or, to me, I think there's a bigger thought process that I think goes into it, where I think that kind of separates people that are good or pretty good to the people that are great. I feel like the great people are always the ones that are always thinking, always trying to find a way.
Okay. So with that being said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I listened to Joe Budden break down the Drake album,
right,
I had to agree with it. I had to agree with that. This is probably old. We heard this before. This is nothing new. This one he did. This is new. He did that since Kanye, put out his album. So when I listened to the Drake album, I was said as very safe. I think you gave me that word, safe.
Yes.
Very safe. It was very similar. It was a lot of the same old. I almost felt like that old game where I'll say a line and you say the next line. I almost felt like I could say the next line before he said it, right?
He's really predictable.
On some songs.
Some, yes.
Some songs. But then you come out with that 7 a.m. on the bridle path, and it was like, oh no, he was hot and he went into the lab with that one.
We need more of that.
We need more of that. So someone who can creatively come across with the point and say it differently than other people have said it in the past and get the point across, that to me is an excellent MC. That was something that Biggie used to do with his flow. Yes. When he was my slow flow is remarkable. He would just change it all up, and then he would do the rapping real fast and
he's creative things.
So it was like, man, Papa been smooth since days of Under Rules. It's like it makes you think about things. So Drake has that ability, but on this album, I don't think a lot of that was. I don't think a lot of it was there.
Now I think it was a lot easier to digest, and I think that's why the consensus of the community thought that Drake's album was better than Donda. But I just for me, I'm just like, it's cool, man. But it's I'm thinking about the So Far Gone Drake. I'm thinking about Drake 10, 15 years ago when he first hit the scene. It was like you could feel the hunger. Whereas I feel like a lot of artists over the years, they kind of trickle down. But for me, I look at like Tyler the Creator, a couple other guys, Joey Badass, some other guys. It's like they're getting better as they go on.
Right.
And then I look at the range of Kanye. Kanye West took us from Jesus Walks to Jesus is Lord, the same artist. And it's just like, and this is me. Me and my buddy Oliver. We talk about this a lot too. If I need a hit song or I need a feature, I'm gonna call Drake because But if I need an album, and that album's got to be able to stand the test of time, and I want to be able to listen to it with my son 15, 20 years, he ain't putting out the same caliber music as Kanye. I'm sorry, man. Like, he's just not.
Yeah, see, and for me, Kanye is, I don't like all of his projects, but when you talk about progression, it's like boom. He stepped out, he did 808s and Heartbreaks, and it was like, what in the hell is
different,
this?
so much different than what
but
he
it
was
was
college
different.
dropout.
It was different, right? And because it was different, it was like, okay, he's going in a different direction. Okay, I'm cool with that, you know. Right. So, you know, we were talking earlier today about some cigar reviewers, and it was like, man, it's the same. There's some. I hate to keep going back to it, right?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
But there's some people that I watch, and I just go, I don't know what anybody is watching this for. Must be the boobs. Must be. Because it's the same, and you get nothing out of it. As far as information, as far as new flow, new beat, new background, you get nothing new. You get nothing new.
So and that's for me speaking on Kanye's behalf too. Like, so even where it's like, all right, like you said, I'm with you too, even as a Kanye fan. I don't like all of his projects, but you know, relatability, and I'll tie this back into the cigar stuff too, but like relatability is really, really important to me. So guess what? This is a guy who I can listen to this guy and I can relate to him, maybe not on a financial standpoint, but I can relate to him as dealing with demons in my own head, or dealing with depression, or dealing with
this Kanye.
Kanye, undiagnosed, being undiagnosed bipolar, which probably all of us have, really, to be honest, all of us probably have some form of it. You know, you wake up one day and you're in the most jovial mood ever, and then the other day you wake up the next day and you don't want anybody talking to you. You know, like that's a condition, whether you want to believe it or not. That's you know what I mean. So that's why I always think it's funny when people say he's not normal. Well, what does the word normal mean? What is definition? What's the baseline of normal?
What is normal? I was in the shop today, and I was literally in there by myself, and I was cleaning. I had the bucket, I had the bleach, the water. I was in my world. Everything was good. Then after a while, some people came in and had a guy sat down. Great guy, love the dude to death, but he wanted to talk to me, right? I didn't want to talk.
Right.
You messing up my peace right now. I just want to be here with my rag cleaning. I don't want to be talking.
I don't want to talk. I don't want to hear no music.
So we all have those feelings, like you say, like, you know, I just want to be left alone. I want to be out in Calabasas with my white house and no furniture and white walls. We all have those moments, and I think anybody would be lying if they said that they never had those moments. So when somebody like Kanye puts it out there in front, we go, oh, yeah, he's strange. It's like, yeah, well, I guess he is strange, but all genius is strange. Right. All genius is strange. I don't care what you say. The people that are smartest in the world are a little bit off, you know?
Of course.
That's what I say about myself.
I feel like I am too, but I think the difference is, even somebody like Tyler, the Creator, everybody, oh, he's kind of weird, or kind of something's off with him. It's like, maybe to you, but to me, I look at somebody and I'm like, I'm pretty proud of somebody like him, because I feel like in a world where things are so off or so different now, where he can sit in front of anybody and be comfortable with who he is and not be rattled by anybody. Like, I admire it. That's a trait that, truth be told, a lot of us don't have it, you know. So I look at that and I'm like, that's cool to me, man. You know how many times a person will walk in the room and try to put up a front or something because it's like, Tyler ain't like that. He's like, man, I'm gonna be weird in front of everybody, you know, like, either you gonna love me or you ain't, you know.
Right. You know, I have a guy who comes by, stops by every once in a while, sit on the porch when you smoke cigars or whatever, and we'll talk about stuff. And he's, you know, some of the conversation can be kind of like way out there, like mind stretching, just mind bending. We talking to birds and just all kind of, to the average person, this dude is just shot, you know. To me, I'm sitting there like, okay, if I stretch my mind a little bit, I can kind of see where you're coming from. Not that I understand it all the way, but I can understand it. Whereas your mother don't understand what the hell you're talking about at all. You just sounds like crazy gibberish. But to me, I can see where you're coming from. And, you know, if you are a creative person, you're going to have a little bit of that. To be able to just take nothing and turn it into something, you got to have a little bit of crazy in you, you know. So I recognize my crazy.
And I'll tell you what I do all the time, or not like an everyday thing, but there'll be periods and times where I'll be just randomly somewhere and I'll just start talking out loud to myself because a lot of times it's so much easier for me to get my thoughts out and hear my own voice talking about it rather than to not talk and hear my voice playing in my head. It's just easy. It's easier for me to just, and Nikki will be like, "You talking to?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm talking to myself. Like I'm, I don't care if you hear me or anybody else hear me. I'm trying to get this shit out. I'm trying to figure out something, like." And I remember being a kid and being almost ashamed if people heard me doing it, because I've been doing it forever. But when I was younger, I'd be worried if somebody heard me, like, "Man, this motherfucker's crazy." Like, and now I'm like, "Man, if you hear, I don't care, man. Whatever." You're gonna hear me talk about something.
When I do that, I'm trying not to lose the point. So if I say it out loud, it's almost like I'm taking a pin and I'm sticking it to the wall, and so I'll blame it on the dog now. I'll be like, "All right, Jada, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, whatever, blah blah blah." Yeah, but it gets it out into the atmosphere so I don't forget it, because sometimes my mind is going 50 miles an hour in several different directions at one time, and it's like if you interrupt that, then you just gonna kill it all. So I don't need you to interrupt that. I need you to just step back out the way and let me do what I do, So I don't know.
I agree with that. And so another thing about Kanye was when I was watching some of his gospel songs, and to me, I said, man, me, you and Cowboy, I think, and Carson were talking in the group chat, and we were talking about that. And I said, man, Cowboy made a very good point for me. Like, I always feel like he was just like, man, I've been listening more to this Donda album. I feel like, it ain't meant for everybody right now. But I almost feel like if you watch the stream and the show and you might not have liked it, but if you didn't feel some type of way or some kind of energy, it's like, man, where's your soul at? Almost like,
right.
So for me, I'm reading comments and it's like, I read a comment. The guy's like, "Look, I don't believe in God and I think Christianity is stupid, but I like listening to this stuff because it makes me feel some type of way." And to me, that's one of the most biggest compliments I think I think even Kanye would look at that and think that's a huge compliment. It's like my music's still moving people that don't even believe in what I'm pushing out. So I'm like,
Right. Because, I make this comment. I say, a lot of times people want to put God in a box and say he's only as big as this in this box. And that's it. And you can only fit on a shelf and that's it. But not everybody is in the box and not everybody can be reached by this little space in the box. So if you got somebody that can reach outside of that box and, like you say, make somebody else feel something or even not quite understand, but question.
Right.
I never thought about it, but this just make me question. I just want to go find out a little bit more about what he's talking about or about what those other people are talking about, because I ain't never had that. This ain't nothing to me. Then you say, it's like God always works with lots of people that you think are not the right people. You think it's not the right people. You know what I'm saying? Because you're looking for like a dude in the front of the church in a white robe, and he's the one that God is sending the message to or whatever. It ain't always like that. Sometimes it's that crazy dude sitting on your porch talking to birds that's got the message for you. Or the crazy Kanye who's got to be committed to a mental asylum for a while to get his mind back together.
Right.
Sometimes the message comes through there. A lot of times people miss the message altogether. I always say on my videos, if you didn't get the message, it wasn't for you.
Right. And that's just as simple as it is. So, and I think for me, I think that's probably been the biggest fault of mine that I've been trying to work more so on, is just trying to realize that everybody doesn't think like me and they're not meant to be, and everybody doesn't understand or question the things that I might understand or might question. So I say that like in the sense of cigar reviews. When I look at we've talked about that before too, and we talked to some people will comment like, "Look, I don't care about the educational part. I just want entertainment," which is cool. Right. Like I said, that's what you want. For me, I've always gravitated more towards the people that they can give me a little education, entertaining, and I feel like I've always gotten closer to the people I feel like I can relate to. That's those. I want to watch people that I feel like if I run up on them in person or in a public place, they're really transparent. They're going to be a solid person. The whole personas and I feel like I'm higher and mightier than you, or don't ask me questions, or that's just never resonated with me. Like and that's when I look at people and I'm like, y'all following this person, man. Like they don't even, like they don't value you like you think that they do. It's pretty obvious to me.
But everybody needs somebody, and everybody doesn't always need the same person.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say everybody wants to feel important.
Right.
Everybody wants to feel like they are part of the club, whatever the club is. It might not be the club for me, but if it's a whole bunch of people over there in that club and they're getting what they need, then I'm happy to let you stay over there in that club. I don't understand it.
Right.
I don't get it. I think the dude is using you, but if that works for you, who am I to question? Because again, go back to that little box that I'm talking about. My mind can only understand so much. There's some ways that things work outside of what my mind can comprehend that I just don't understand. But if it works, I'm just going to assume that it's working out okay. So I'm gonna let you stay over there. And I'm gonna let you work it out, and it'll be all right, And listen, there's room enough for everybody. The pie is big. Pie is big. Yep.
I go back and watched it, and I think I even sent you that video again over 6-7 months ago with the timestamp when you were doing the end of the year recap and you were reviewing the Black Friday, the HBC Black Friday. Because a lot of times, like I said, it's funny because me and you talk all the time, like, man, I don't know why you go back and watch all those old videos. I hate those old videos. But for me, like I go back and watch this stuff because I pick up a whole lot of things that my mind has grown so much in the past, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years. So the videos and the messages, how I maybe felt about them, or when I was watching these older videos for what they were, then it's just a straight up cigar review. Well, now that I have children, a family and stuff, or things in my life have changed. So I go back and watch it and I'm picking up something new from watching maybe a video I've watched 3 or 4 times. It's just something different. It's the same thing with a song. Mm-hmm. You'll hear a song in the first pass. You're like, oh, it's a really nice production, chord progression and stuff on it. Then you're like, oh, okay. You hear 1 or 2 bars. You're like, oh, that was nice. But then you go back and listen to it again and you hear the verse in its entirety and then you piece all of it together and it makes it that much more beautiful. Like, even something with even no words, like my appreciation for the Kate's waltz was tremendous. Like it got to a point where in your videos, when that beat dropped, I just stopped listening to you talk. That beat would just, or that tone would just put me in a completely different mindset.
Right.
And what you were saying, I have to go back and maybe try to listen to what you were saying then, but it's like, you would always drop it right at the right time. It's like, you hear that beat drop and I was like, I'm gone. Like I'm on the Kate's walk train now,
Right. And it's again, that creativity to be able to say, hey, listen, why was that song the song? I don't know. It was something that spoke to me as well. And I'm like, yeah, it just kind of does what it needs to do, So
that particular song has evoked so much emotion in me listening to it before. I've listened to it before and gotten really happy about things. And I've listened to that song before because, once you sent me the instrumental, like I've been able to listen to it. Sometimes I'll listen to it and it'll put me in a sad mood. Sometimes I'll listen to it and it'll bring back memories of things I just think about. It'll just trigger memories of things. It's just like, it's just all over the place. But for me, that shows how great that tune is because it's able to invoke so many different emotions for me. So,
and the weird thing is, it's a waltz, and when we think about a waltz, you think about that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, very classical, And when you hear that song, unless you pay attention, you don't hear that rhythm that way.
Right.
You don't hear that song as a waltz. But
and that's funny you said that because I got invited to a debutante ball when I was like a junior in high school. And so my appreciation for waltzing got really, because we go to practice. I'm like, well, yeah, it's a girl inviting me. I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll do this shit, whatever. And the first practice, I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll just keep going because I told you I'd go. But by the end of it, and then we did the whole big show in front of everybody, I was like, man, I kind of like this shit, man. This shit's cool. Right. You in there with about 20 other teams and y'all waltzing and stuff. It's like, man, this is cool, man. You think about it, it's like, this is what life is all about. You just take a moment to enjoy whatever, live in the moment, you enjoy it. It's like, man, I just really feel sorry for people that, don't take the time to slow down in life and appreciate what's going on in front of them right now.
Right.
That's really important. So,
and you know what? It's funny because the older you get, the more you appreciate I'm going to say less, right? So there are things that you accumulate in life. And then sometimes you just say, you know what, but I'm good. Like I would always tell people when I was working in the office, I said, I've had a big office. I had a big window that opened. I had television. I had all this shit in my office. I had the secretary outside. I had all of that, right? But in the midst of all of that, you could give me a space in the corner with a trash can that I turned upside down and balance my computer on my knee, and I would be just as good.
Right.
So as you get older, you learn to appreciate it's not all about the big things or the big titles or the big, people think certain people are important. Hey, he's the president. He's more important than the guy that's emptying your trash. And see, I learned that the dude that's emptying the trash might be just as important as the president because he gets around all over the organization. He sees and hears everything.
Right.
That might be the guy that I need to talk to. So what I learned before I left was, hey, I talk to everybody. How you doing? You having a good day today? Everything all right? Yeah, what you say your name was? Oh, Robert? Hey, what's up, Robert? How you doing? You know, one of the dudes who came in who emptied the trash in my space, I still follow. He's a rapper. And then I met his producer. He still produces. I still follow them on Instagram. I watched his kids grow up, and his kids go off to college or whatever. Dude, I met from, emptying the trash.
Right.
You
just never, and like you say, you got to respect the positions because you never know who that person, and even if it ain't necessarily them, you don't know who they're connected to, who they know, what they you never know what they can help you with. And like I tell people all the time too, helping a person, I think we've gotten to a point where when you hear help and stuff, people automatically assume financially. And I would dare to say a lot of times the most valuable help doesn't come from financial backing. It comes from spiritual or emotional tie. It's so much more valuable than just what can you do for me financially,
Right.
So
yeah, sometimes help is just a listening ear. Sometimes like I told a brother the other day, I said, look, man, if you need to come over and just sit on the porch, and this is the thing that we love about smoking cigars. I said, man, we could just sit there and look at each other and blow smoke in the air and not say nothing. Because I know you're going through a situation. So sometimes the help is being able to get away and not having to talk, not having to explain to anybody, because truthfully, I understand what you're going through. I understand because I've been through a divorce, so I know how you feel. And I know what you're feeling, like you just want to get away. That's the help sometimes, Sometimes you got to be able to do that. But, that's all about life, and that's all about experiences. You have to have lived long enough to have had some of those good and bad experiences to be able to help somebody else. I
think it's okay to say, if you haven't, I don't know where, and I'm sure you can see it too. I see a lot of people where instead of saying they don't know something, or instead of saying I can't relate, everybody has this reaction, so to speak, to feel like, oh, I know, and it's just like, man, you're only 22 or 23 years old.
You don't know.
You don't know a lot of stuff, man. It's inevitable. Like you just haven't been through enough stuff.
But that's the same thing that I love sitting down talking to guys that are older than me, because there are things that they know that they have been through that I haven't been through. So like, if my dad used to always tell me, listen, he said, you can learn more if you sit down and shut your mouth and open your ears than the other way around. He would always tell me that. And I thought he just wanted me to stop talking. I thought he just wanted me to shut up. But as I got older, I understood, sometimes you need to listen, and then you can learn. And you can learn from anybody. It doesn't matter if they're older than you, younger than you, richer than you, poorer than you. That's why I talk to everybody. Right. My wife don't get it. I get it from my grandfather. I get it honest, right? I talk to anybody. I don't care who it is, right? We'll have a conversation. She'll come home. I'll come home and I'll say, yeah, this is what's going on over there, this, that, whatever. She said, well, how do you know? I said, well, I talked to so-and-so and so-and-so, and I got the details, But you can learn by talking to people, but you can also learn by listening.
The other day I transported a guy that was born in 1927, and so on the way to the hospital I was talking to him, and because I sat there and I was thinking, I said, man, this dude was around like in the Great Depression, the Second World War, and we got to talking. And it's like, this guy's seen a lot of stuff, man. He's been through a lot of stuff. He was just like, man, it was funny. He said, you know what I value? He said, going through, even though I was a young kid, I remembered it now. He says, I got older. He's in pretty good health. He didn't really have too much going on. He had tripped out of his wheelchair and fell. But he was like, man, being a kid, you get or realize the importance of like even something as simple as a meal, that people take for granted. Like we sit at home and like the luxury of saying, what do you want to eat today? You want wings? You want ribs? You want steak? And it's like, he's telling me, he's like, man, I remember I was happy to get an apple after a meal. Like if I got an apple or orange or something, that was a big deal, man.
That's amazing, right?
Yeah, it's like fruit was like a straight up, he was like, that was a luxury. Like, and I'm sitting here looking at him like, man, just go to the store and buy a bag of them motherfuckers, man. Like, it's
right. Nothing, and throw half of them away if you don't want it.
If they start molding, I ain't even thinking about it, where they would have had some mold or getting mushy or something. They finna eat those apples, man. They finna throw that stuff out. So, you think about all the different things that people have gone through, and it's just like you said, sometimes you just sit back and listen so you can try to gather some information. And, that way, if you end up getting, if anything ends up kind of going into like a rough patch or a bind, you can maybe something you picked up or listened to will help you get through the tough time or whatever you're going through. So,
yeah, man. Yeah, man.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Like I said, it's been I don't know, it's weird. It's like you just sit there and wonder when you're gonna ever catch up on rest and stuff. And I'm starting to think that I might not ever really fully catch up with it. Especially now, it's like, it's like no matter how many naps and stuff I take, man, it's like I can't catch up.
Listen, I was feeling that way earlier in the week because we had the party on Saturday and then Sunday. My daughter was still here. My grandkids were still here. They didn't leave until Monday. My wife didn't go back to work until Tuesday. So it was just like I was exhausted. Wednesday, Thursday. It was like I get up and I'm like, I'm exhausted. I wake up, Mike, how you feel? I said, I don't know how I feel.
That's a very honest answer though. Like, man, or I'm tired. It's okay. I think I've learned it over the time too. Instead of saying, if I'm not feeling good, I'm just, how are you feeling now? I'm feeling that good today, man. But but the difference is I'll make it. I'll make it. I'll live.
Yeah,
I don't feel that good today. Instead of saying, I'm great. Like, I'm not great. Like,
Yep. Yeah. And that's the way it was. So I spent a couple of days just like really in bed most of the day and most of the night, and then I was like, you start worrying like, is something wrong with me? Is something like, is it ever going to get better? Like, I hope this ain't it because I got stuff to do,
I still got some more stuff to do, man.
Yeah, I'm busy. And then my nephew told me, he said, listen, stop smoking cigars. And I'm like, oh, Lord, it's going downhill fast.
Because you know what? I'm like that too, though, because you don't realize how much something is really a part of your life until you stop doing it. So, like, when my allergies or sinuses are really wrecked up, or like last year when I was dealing with COVID too, it's just like, it's just like, man, you don't realize, again, you're taking stuff for granted, like smoking 4 or 5 cigars a day or whatever. Like, and then you finally sit down into a point where it's like, well, yeah, I technically could smoke today, but I'd be it might as well just take money out of my wallet and just start throwing it outside. Because I ain't tasting nothing, which the end of it is like, besides the cost of it or whatever, we smoke for the experience and the enjoyment. And it's like, well, I ain't gonna have no experience or enjoyment out of this, so I might as well not do it. So that's why I was telling you about staying hydrated too, because I think that, it's so easy. We ask people all the time when we're making them, are you drinking enough? Yeah, I'm drinking enough water. But it's like, in actuality, most of us just don't. We take it for, you think a couple of glasses a day is fine. But you don't realize you counteract that with juice or sodas or whatever. You're drinking alcohol.
Colonel Taylor.
So it's like, yeah, I'm drinking enough water. But then when you sit down and think, like, yeah. And then some people I've talked to like, man, I ain't drinking no water in like a few days. Like, man, you might as well stay on that water, man.
Right. And that's what I did like yesterday. I really just kind of overhydrated. Not really. I probably was getting where I needed to be. And today, same thing. I'm, drinking a lot of water, trying to, stay hydrated or whatever. And then it feels like, man, I ain't had no cigar. It's like, the last one I had was like, Yesterday, right? So I was like, man, you'll be like,
I had no man, I'm getting the itch, man. You start walking by humidors and kind of, like I did a few times. I opened up, pull the drawer to just look at them, and I started to grab one. I said, man, I'm not ready yet, man. Let me just put this. Slide this
and then to make it worse, tonight my wife decides she gonna go out on the back deck and light her up a cigar. I was like, man.
All right, I'll go out there and just talk with you. Okay, all right. But even going back about the hydration, right? So like, it's a simple concept, but I think, like you said, we just take it for granted because we just wake up every day and we live and we're just doing stuff. But like, it's literally the oil to your system. Your organs and your brain doesn't function well when it's, you're low on oil or you don't have a sufficient amount in there. You're not.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, man. I had to start doing it more too. So I've been doing really well or trying to do better about it probably the past 6 or 7 months, making sure I'm drinking enough water.
Well, that's good. And listen, I just want to give a big shout out. There's a lot of folks over there in the chat. We see you over there, but we're trying to do our little talking thing or whatever. But I just had to pause right quick and say what's up to my brother Ethan Porter. He talked about his good friend, 16-year-old brother, just passed suddenly the other week and put shit in perspective for him. And it really does. Death puts things in perspective for you, and you don't want to talk about it, but it's a part of life. So, my condolences to the families and all of those folks that have lost folks recently, because it's not easy. I had a buddy of mine that passed. Funeral was 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And, you think about the people that you grow up with. So I always talk about my buddy Jeff, my buddy Antoine. So Antoine's the one that passed.
Right.
So when I start thinking about it, I say, Antoine was the one that got me into a lot of stuff. I got a keyboard over here. I started doing music on the computer because Antoine was the computer guy. He wasn't a musician, but he was the computer guy. I started riding a motorcycle because Antoine bought a motorcycle. I said, well, the man teach me how to ride. I like this. Let me get into it. Right. I started flying stunt kites because Antoine was in the stunt kites. So you start thinking about all of the things, how people, affect your life. It's like, man, even though we hadn't talked in years, this brother had a lot of effect on me, and his loss is, definitely going to have an effect. So, that's why we got to live life every day. That's why I always tell people, listen, every day is a great day. People want to complain about things that are going on and all the stuff that we talked about that was going on bad and the rough times or whatever. And look, life is short, man. This brother is 56 years old.
That's young. And to me, that's young. And to me, that's young, man.
That's young.
That's young.
2 former girlfriends that I have buried in the last 7 years that were 50 years old, that didn't make it to 50. My father, 50. So, when you're 20 and you're in your 20s, you think it's, hey, I'm young and life is long, but
it ain't promised though.
It's not promised. I want to make it over 100. If you ask me, hey, listen, long as my brain still works, I want to make it over 100. If my brain ain't no good, take me on up out of here. I can't be bothered, but life is short. So you got to really, really, appreciate life. I appreciate everybody that came by to check us out as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I would add to that too, for me, like how I look at things too, like, stress is inevitable. It happens to all of us. It's things we all have to deal with. But I would just say for me, I always try to moderate the stress and try to keep it at a minimal level. Because I think we talked about it on the stream before too. Like I was telling people, we think about all these diseases, which I think that stress automatic or kind of causes a lot of this stuff. You get stressed out, it raises your blood pressure issues go to a lot of different other things too. So I always would tell people, try to moderate your stress level. And another thing too is like, you're not designed to go through life alone. So you need to make sure that you surround yourself with really good people and value those friendships. And if you really do care and love that person or whoever it is, value that friendship and don't be so quick to, throw things away thinking that, oh, well, I'll just get another one or I can get it real quick. Because a lot of times as you get older too, you realize that circle gets smaller, smaller, and smaller. So you have to really make sure that you got the right people around you and you make sure you stay latched on to them. So
Cool beans. Cool beans.
So oh yeah, I see the comment you were just reading. Okay. Yeah, and then so I was thinking that too. Like, I still even makes me think about even the one time you had the video too about talking about your friends that you can count on one hand. It's still just funny to me how somebody's like, man, I ain't number 1 or 2. Like, it's like, you might be 8 or 9, but the privilege is you still in the group. Think about how many people that aren't in the group. Like, you know.
Yeah. Hey, listen, and let me ask you about this too, right? So I've been talking about, we all have a team, right? So, like, say in your house, right?
Yep.
Your wife and you are a team. As your kids get older, they all going to be part of Team McCoy, right? So it's all about Team McCoy. So, Quincy is older, Jada's older. There's certain things you need them to do or whatever. You can call on your team to bring the resources together, right?
Right.
I've been noticing that there are some people that say they have folks on their team, but they sit out there by themselves and they struggle without calling on the members of the team. What do you think about that?
I think that's an issue I had to learn the hard way too, right? So I don't even know necessarily if that's maybe, and like I said, there could be a multitude of things. Maybe it's I want to do it this way. That way, if things work out, I can say like I didn't have to lean on anybody, and I can stand on my own and say, look, I did it myself. I proved everybody wrong. But again, like I was just saying a few minutes ago, you can't go through life alone. And for me, even chasing after success, and success is subjective to everybody's version of success can be completely different. But I myself find more fulfillment in standing on top of the mountain, and not only standing on top of the mountain, but being able to stand on top of the mountain with people that matter to me. And I get more fulfillment in saying it's me and the 4 people that got up here together. Like I can put my arms around them and say, we all did this. I get more fulfillment and more enjoyment out of it. I would say to a person that is exhibiting it, you got to trust the people that you're putting in your circle. You got to trust that they're in for your best interest. And you got to stick to those guns, man. Trust me, there are times that for all of us, me and your friendship, whoever, there are times maybe when you might see something and you kind of be like, damn, then you got to kind of snap yourself out of it, like, oh, I know it looks like that, but I trust that person loves me, respects me in the relationship. They would never put me in harm's way or do anything that's not in my best interest. I got to put my personal feelings to the side and know that they're in there for my better judgment, my better reason. So you got to trust the people that you're around, man.
Trust.
Life is more enjoyable when you got people around you to share it with.
So that is the big issue, right? So, and I've told this story more than once. I talk about our folks in our group chat, right? So I came on there with an issue. I wanted to do something. I wanted to go left. My mind was made up. I'm going left because that's the way I want to go, and that's the way that I think is the correct way to go. Left.
Right.
Y'all said, you need to go right. So we could argue about it back and forth, but in the end, I have to trust, and that's the word you said right there. I have to trust that my brothers or anybody that's on my team is not in it for anything except for my good.
Right.
They're not going to tell me to go right because it's going to make them look good, me look bad. They're telling me because they think that that's right. And when more than one of them is on the team and they're saying, look, bruh, you need to go right. You're going left, you need to go right. That you need to be able to look. You got to be able to listen to that. And you also have to be able to be checked by your friends, checked by your teams, and you also got to be able to listen. If you my man, right? Ron, you my dude, right? And you doing something and I think it's just totally wrong, I got to come and tell you, hey, look, You might get mad at me and we might not never be friends no more again. But if you my man, I owe it to you to be able to come to you and say to you, Ron, this is fucked up. You need to, you doing this wrong.
Right.
I owe that to you. Now, if we are really, really close, even if you don't like what I say, eventually we're gonna smooth that over.
Of course.
You understand what I'm saying? Eventually we're gonna smooth it over. So when you pick people that's gonna be on your team, you gotta pick people like that. You gotta pick people that are willing to go out on the limb for you, and vice versa. You got to pick people on your team that, hey, listen, 3 o'clock in the morning, you got to be able to call them up and say, look, I need you. And before you get that last word out your mouth, they're like, all right, I've got my pants on. Where you at? I'm coming.
Right.
Those are the people. If you don't have it like that, you need to just, those
aren't the right people.
They could be associates, but they don't have to be on your team. You know what I'm saying? That's just like your wife. If you somewhere stuck and you call your wife, she's going to come. She's going to be like, all right, listen, it's no question. No matter what I'm doing.
Or we'll talk in the car or something, but you need to be on the way here. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So too many people hanging out with folks that don't have their best interests in mind. So you gotta. It's so simple, but yet so hard.
Yeah, so I was literally gonna say that it seems very simple, but it's almost like the time frame we're in now. Things that are simple or seem very common to us, it's just seeming like it's a very stringent task for everybody. It's like me and you might look at it and be like, "How is this hard to understand it?" But it's just like, again, from earlier, like everybody doesn't think like you or process things like you. But again, if that's the person you really care about and you'll have a friendship, then it's your duty to at least convey the information out to them and try to get them to understand where you're coming from. Because like, even in that situation, if you wanted to go left and if you listen to us and at the end of it, you still wanted to go left, you still my man. And even if something doesn't end up going right, I'm not going to ever come back. I told you so. It's not about that. But because you know what? I know you too. So it's like, if you went left and it didn't go right, I'm not going to have to say anything to you. You will be the one reaching out to me like, well, Ron, like, that shit backfired. And I'm
you told me to go right.
And I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm like, man, it's all right. We didn't die from it. It's cool. We learn from it. We go next time. Because guess what? I might be the one in the next scenario trying to go left, and you pulling me back saying, "No, remember you told me to go right. It's the same thing. Go right." All right, cool. So that's why I said too. People look at it from the outside and think it's just cigars, but it's just like, it's so much deeper and so much, it goes in so many layers. The layers are so deep compared to just what people think they see on the outside. So it's like the cigars are what brings everybody in the room. It's like, that's not the thing that we're talking about on the whiteboard or what we talking about on the PowerPoint. It's like cigars just bring us in the room. So yeah.
That's just something that we have in common, definitely something that we having in common.
I just saw what Foulscorp said, and that is a complete 1,000% fact. And he said pride is the devil, and pride fucks up a whole lot of stuff. Because a person or a team or people can't put their pride to the side and just say, you know what, you're right, or whatever. Some people will take their pride and go to the grave.
Yeah, and that pride is that thing that's not going to keep you from asking for help. I used to be like that.
Yep.
Because I used to be like, oh, I'm going to figure it out. And I'll tell you how I did it. One example. When I was in high school, I was like a smart dude. I was like, hey, man, I'm one of the smartest people in the room. I'm good. When I got to college, everybody was smart. They was way smarter than me. So when I started struggling, I'm not going to ask for help. I'll figure it out myself because I'm smart. Big mistake.
Right.
Big mistake, thinking that nobody else there could help me because I was the smartest person in the room. All of a sudden, I wasn't the smartest person in the room no more.
Right.
And I had to learn the hard way, and I learned that hard ass lesson.
I think about that too. I'm like, if the goal for us is to climb to the top of the mountain, and it's projected that it's going to take us 10 hours to climb to the top of the mountain. Well, somebody's climbing back down it as we're getting ready to climb up and like, hey man, you take this route, it'll cut 2 hours off.
Right.
In layman's terms, that person's already experienced what we're about to try and there's no ulterior motive or anything. They're just literally
Right.
giving information, trying to help. It's okay to say, all right, cool, we'll take, all right, well, why not? Why would I not want to make the route simpler or less stressful for us? Again, keeping the stress down. So again, I go back to the trusting the people on your team too, because again, that could help bring the stress level down too. You know, going through life alone or going through a lot of stuff by yourself is going to be very stressful. It's just going to be. So you look at stuff or people or a team or something doing that and oh man, and you sitting there looking like, well, you complaining and bitching about this stuff, but it's like some of this stuff you're going through, you don't have to. You choosing to do this.
Like, you choosing to do it. And you know, I saw somebody up here said earlier, trust but verify. You know, and I get it. And I understand
but I think that's the whole vetting. That's again going back to who you allow in your circle. There should be there should be a very strenuous vetting process before you let them in.
If you are in my circle, I don't have to verify it.
I vetted you already. Yep.
My wife was.
Oh, what happened to you? Let me see. Unc, you still there? Is it frozen up for y'all? Let me know if it's frozen up for y'all. I think we lost Unc. Yep. Let's see if Unc comes back in for a quick minute or not. We'll see. If not, man, we'll end the stream and see y'all next week. Let's see. Mom, I'm assuming you, or like I said, Unc got kicked out, so I think he froze up. Rick is frozen for you too. All right, but I guess I don't know. We'll see. We'll give Unc a few more minutes if he ends up coming back in. If not, we'll cancel it or we'll call it a show, and we'll see y'all next week. In the meantime, I will see what you guys are talking about. Yeah, Unc, it froze. Yeah, you froze on me. Yes, it's cool. He said he's gonna sign back in. All right. We'll pick back up where we left off. This technology can be weird sometimes, as you can see. See if Unc gets signed back in. While we wait for Unc too, if anybody's been smoking anything good, y'all put in the chat what y'all been smoking. I've just got done smoking some cheroots, and we got a couple of blends that we're working on too. Me and James were just on the phone earlier today before this stream started. So trying to get some blends finalized for a couple of projects for the Cigar of the Month Club and for the store over at Black Line Luxury. I think you guys are gonna be really excited what we're gonna be working on. We got two really good companies that we are collaborating with, and I'm really excited about both of them. I think these will be some really cool projects for y'all. I think y'all will be happy about these. Let's see. Yeah, Cole Rice, he's got the link. He just got to sign back in. So we'll see if he signs back in. JR Ultimate Cabinet number 50. I don't know if I had that one. What's going on, AMR? Billy just finished the Mayans. Smoking supremely from the club. Rick, what do you think about it so far? Did you get a chance to smoke the other Supreme Leafs, or is this the first Supreme Leaf you got to smoke? Hoya de Nicaragua and Tanya, great cigar. I've been smoking a lot of the Cuatro Cinco Bellicoso is the TAA exclusive. If you've been following me on Instagram, I've been smoking a lot of those recently. So if you see those cigars, I definitely pick those up. It's a very good cigar. Another good cigar for Hoya de Nicaragua to add in their portfolio. Okay, yeah, I'll wait for you. Leon, I'm glad to hear that, man. Like I said, we've been putting a lot of thought process in that too. And then of course, like we're able to, since it's a smaller branch of the club, we've been able to put a lot more stuff in there. So I'm glad to see you have been enjoying it. The other people I know that are in the club are really enjoying it too. So I'm glad to hear that. Says Sumatra, it's hard to find the cheroots that do not taste super sweet. Greg, I still got those cigars from you too. I need to smoke too, man. I still got those. I ain't forgot about you. You're smoking the Chico, CAO America, the series of commas, not periods of effect. Man, I've been doing all right. I don't have any complaints. I'm not gonna complain. That's the best of the Supreme Leaf, in my opinion. I feel like for me, I think it's the second best for me still. I think it's, I think not even alone, it's just kind of hard for companies, not just even the Supreme Leaf, but Unk's coming back in now. I think it's just hard in general for companies, especially if the initial project is very, very good and has a good following. It's hard to follow up. So, but I think the Bellicoso is a very, very good addition. I think it's easily the second best size of the Supreme Leaf. But I know we keep saying it, man, and not a lot of people got a chance to smoke it. And I've smoked a few over the past. I've probably smoked 2 or 3 this year. And this cigar, the Robusto, is just still. They're just kind of chasing the dragon, man. I don't think they're gonna be able to top that cigar. It's gonna be hard. That's just one of those cigars, and whatever that particular blend was. And for me, I think about it like this. And I could be completely wrong. I think that it's the reason why that size came out first, because I know that they smoked that cigar. When you're blending, you're making different sizes. I think there was a reason why that cigar was chosen in that cigar size first. We got you back, Unc.
Oh, you see me now?
You good. But I know before you froze up, we were talking about like I think we were in agreement on that the vetting process, once you vet the people that are in your circle, like you say, you shouldn't have to question them, or they shouldn't be in your circle anyway. So even in particular, like me and you, like something goes on, I never have to question it. Like I don't question motives or anything like this. Like I know Lee, like talk every day, like it's my dude. Like I know he's not putting me in harm's way. There's nothing there. Like, so.
Yeah, you gotta have the right people in your circle. Once you vet the people in your circle, then you don't have to verify that they are going to be there when the bubble goes up. You know that they're going to be there.
Right. So I was going to ask you too. Now I know we've been watching the reviews, and I know you got some other stuff coming out. I know we saw recently the Viaje that didn't score so well. And I thought that was funny too, because like Viaje is one of those companies too. Like, and here's another thing that I want to say to people too. With me being an Aganorsa fan, I like their tobacco for the most part. Most of the stuff they do, I like. Viaje is another prime example of I don't like everything that the tobacco leads out to be made by. Now, not saying that everything Viaje does is made through Aganorsa, but a lot of their projects are. And where Aganorsa and HVC and Illusione and these other companies make this is and I don't know, like I said, I don't know Andre Farkas personally or anything. I don't know what level or grade of tobacco he's using or what they're allowing him to get. But Viaje is one of those companies for me that's very hit or miss. Now, I'll pick like the Summerfest. I reviewed that cigar. The footage is around. I don't know. I might try to get Eric to put out that video. It's gonna be damn near impossible for people to find that cigar anyway. But that cigar, the Viaje Summerfest, the Chartreuse Private Keep from last year, some of their cigars, when they're really good, they're among the best in the industry. But then they got a lot of cigars that fall way short of expectations, man. And it's a lot of bands, it's a lot of marketing, it's the stuff that you guys, and that's why I say I'm consistent. It's Ezra Zion, some of this, I'm very consistent. I don't like the whole let me dress up this band and oh, it's a TNT cigar. Like, oh, it looks cool. It smokes like shit. Like it's still, like whatever. Like, so I thought that was funny that was a miss for you.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, you know what? I was mixing up Viaje with Illusione in my head.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, man, I was just like, man, this is going to be a good cigar because, we talk about Dion, and I'm like, wait, no, hold on. I don't mix them up.
It ain't him.
The wrong dude, right?
Yeah.
Viaje puts out a lot of cigars. And they used to put out a lot more cigars. Like you said, there were so many that it was like hit and miss. Like I still have upstairs some Farmer Bill Hatchet and stuffed turkey and, all these ones that there were just so many cigars that came out. It was like, oh no. Some of them are good. Some of them ain't good. But in our store, we must have carried the entire Viaje line. So there was just like Viaje everywhere. And it was just like, it was overwhelming. It was like, oh, I can't. I don't know.
Right. It's just like you said. you kind of get caught up in it, like the Ezra Zion stuff. You see the catchy bands and this rapper is 10 years old, and then you smoking. And it's like, I don't really care if this rapper's 10 years old. This cigar kind of sucks. Like,
Oh, so now I was going to do a video on this. I'm glad you brought that up. Right. So I had this thought, right. And it kind of goes like this. A good story can sell a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
But a good story cannot make a sucky cigar taste good.
Fact. I'm trying to think. The quintessential cigar that had a great story and just didn't resonate with me. I'm trying to really think of, like, if I had to think about like the one, it was like, all right, this cigar had a lot of hype behind it. It was just trying to think
I'm gonna go the other way. The one that had a good story and sold a good cigar. Amazon Basin series.
Yes.
Good story, good cigar. Yagua.
Yep.
The Yagua, another good story, good cigar, but I can't think of any right now where it had a great story, but the cigar sucked,
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to rack my brain, because it's like, I'm trying to think of something that had a lot of a good story and hype behind it, and I smoked it. It was just like, man, I like the story, but the cigar, story's cool, but just the cigar ain't adding up. And it's just like, I'm trying to think too. It's like, I'm trying to go through brands of stuff that I really like to smoke, and
yeah, see, and that's the thing for me. Those type of cigars, they're like one and done. I'm like, I don't smoke them anymore, so I forget about them.
Right. And that's kind of me too, because like I said, most of the time, if a cigar is average to me the first pass, I'll at least smoke it again to kind of confirm. But most of the time, if the cigar is like trash to me, like I won't usually go again. Well, it's not really a story behind it, but like the Andalusian Bull.
Yeah,
I know Mathis loves the cigar. Quite a few other people really.
Yeah,
and I know I don't know how Carson feels about it now, but I know Carson used to be really crazy about that Bull. And it was the same thing. Like Lito Gomez found these molds over in Spain, customized them to be able to make a modern day cigar. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Smoked the first batch. I'm like, it wasn't the best cigar in the world, but I was like, all right, I enjoy this. It's cool. One cigar of the year, had a lot of hype behind it again, grabbed it again. Man, this cigar is horrible. And what made it funny for me too is no matter, and like I said, if y'all like the cigar, cool. I'm glad, because at the end of the day, the cigar is about what you like and what you're enjoying, main thing. But here locally, they come out once or twice a year, and then these stores will corner you into either you have to buy one other LFD cigar to be able to purchase one, or there's a 2 cigar limit. And I'm sitting there looking at these people. I'm like, man, LFD makes so much better stuff. Like, there's just here that has no limit on it. Like me and Carson talk about this cigar all the time. If you want to find a really good cigar, no band, no hype, comes in an ugly crate. The LFD cabinet, Maduro cabinet number 5, and I think he likes the number 4 or 6. He likes the Torpedo. The number 5 is just the regular Parejo. No band on it, just a solid cigar. Same thing with Warped Lirio Rojo. Comes in a cabinet of 50 in red foil and a red band. You take it out. If I were smoking in the lounge, you wouldn't even know it's no band on it, but the cigars are good. It's like, That's what I, that's what I live. Now, am I gonna lie and say I don't like good looking bands and stuff? Of course not. Like I think this stuff plays up on it too. Because if that was the case, I'd take the band off and before I start smoking it. But like, we all get in that mode. You be in the lounge, you smoking. You want somebody to come up, oh man, look at that boy smoking up a Patron. Look at him. Cool, I get it. I'm right there with you too. But for me, the experience and the cigar has to add up to that too. So
see, but you can't smoke the band,
No, you can't.
Another one that Mark sent me over from overseas there. I had some Bolivars back before Cuban Bolivars, before they put bands on them. Same kind of thing. They came in cabinets of 50, no bands. It was just a cigar. So if you didn't see the band, you didn't know what it was. It was an excellent cigar.
I bet that was good.
Fire cigar. So, the story is good. And I think we are getting into this part of the industry now where everybody wants a good story. And I'm like, just give me a good cigar.
And that's my thing, Unc, is like, I don't mind listening to the good cigar stories, but like, I'm looking at smokers and I'm almost at the point too, I'm looking at them like, I'm feeling like mediocrity is acceptable now because the story or whatever is attached to it. It's like, man, like you said, just give me a good cigar. Like I just, the band, the story and stuff. If the story, like you said, the CAO Amazon Basin series, I'm like, all right, smoking a cigar, man, this Orlano's really good. Then you reading the article as you're smoking, it's like, all right, I get this. Like you say, or the Yagua, like the story behind it. It's like, all right, that's cool. But if that cigar would have been smoking like a brick house or something, I'd been like, okay, the story's cool, but it means nothing to the cigar. Y'all didn't make the cigar that good, like. And
it's funny that you mentioned Yagua, Brick House, and then let's go with they
make the JC makes
the
American, yep.
Right. So same house. They make a cigar that I love, I hate, I love. You know what I'm saying? Same house, but they have some stuff that's just like way average,
Yep. And that's my whole thing. I'm just like, I gotta understand and realize, like, Ron, everybody ain't like you. Some people, like you said, some people watch reviews for entertainment. They don't care about the information or what the cigar tastes like. They just want to laugh while they watch the video. Like, same thing here. It's like, I think some people, like, I don't care if the cigars are good. I just want, like you said, I want to be a part of something. Like, I just want to be entertained. Like my boy Jay Williams say, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Let's live life, and we're back.
And we're back. I just want to entertain you.
And you talk about a story. That man, he's another one. He makes long videos, and they actually got longer. When I first started watching him, Jay was only putting out maybe 15, 20-minute videos. Now they're all like 35, 40 minutes. But you know what? Right. You get to smoking a cigar, doing something, you get caught. It's like you sitting down at a campsite and he's the camp master, like reading you or telling you stories, and you just sitting there, you just like, because it's fascinating to me. The guy's been locked up for 10 years. He told the guy, I bet he's gonna run out of material. He's like, man, I was locked up for 365 days times 10. I saw you. I'm surrounded by people that have life sentences, whatever, murders. Right. He's like, I'll never run out of content. He's like, some people that I was around, they have all day to sit there and think of ways to screw people over, get over on CEO, whatever. He's like, man, and so you hear these stories, and it's just like, and not on top of that, the stories, even when he was not locked up, when he was out, in the free world doing stuff before he got locked up, So
right.
Yeah, I like Jay though, man. He's a good dude. I've tried to watch 3 or 4 other prison-related channels, and there's no shade to them, but it's just like same thing like you. Like somebody else could come on the scene and try to do the cigar reviews and combine the stories, but it's just kind of like it's just not the same, man. It's just Jay's got a different feel.
Listen, you got to have those life experiences to be able to tell the stories. You know what I'm saying? So, right. Like, unless you've, come across the Malaysian border and try to cross into Singapore with a bag full of bootleg DVDs and chewing gum, which is not allowed in Singapore, and they stop your man right behind you and you up front, and you keep on moving. Unless you've had that experience, you don't know what it feels like. Right. When you go into the mall and, they roll with the roll down doors or whatever, my man say, you want to buy whatever it is? Okay, hold up. All right, we're gonna knock on the door. Bang, bang, bang. He get a signal. Roll up. All right, slide under. Boom, boom, boom. You in it. Now, in a foreign country, this ain't my country.
Right.
Unless you've had those type of experiences, you can't tell that story. But when you talk about it and somebody else has had that experience, they go, yeah, man, I was at that same mall. I know what you're talking about. It's the same thing about the hood stories at home. You talk about going in the bodega and different things happening. You know, the dude that always hang out in the shop that, you know, if you don't know about those things, you have no clue. Same thing with the upper end of life. If you have never been out to dinner with somebody where money is no object, and when they go there, when you see on TV and they tell you, they don't get the menu, they just tell them what we want. Yeah, listen, we want 2 trays, we want oysters, Rockefeller, give us some king crab legs and a couple of this, that, whatever. And they're not even ordering off the menu and they make it happen.
Right.
You don't know what it's like. I've been there and it's beautiful. I can't make it happen, but it's a beautiful thing. When my man says, yeah, and we got another surprise. We having fireworks tonight. Okay. This shit look like the damn Macy's parade.
Yep.
This is like a little private thing on the island. We down here in Florida. We big balling. Okay, us good. Unless you've been there, you don't know what it's like. So you can't tell them stories. But if you've been there,
and for a person that can't still tell those stories, it's okay, because guess what? You're going to be able to go through your life and your experiences and tell stories that or pertain to you or whoever's listening to you too. You got to be okay with that too. I feel like sometimes people get caught up in, now I want to be able to tell them stories. And like you said, you haven't lived through that. And if you haven't, to the real, they always say real recognizes real. They'll be able to pick that shit apart really quick. Like, this dude just making shit up. He ain't been through nothing like this.
I hear you. Shout out Scrub Zero. He said he went to prison. It ain't worth the stories, bro. That's why I ain't never went, man.
That's a fact.
Hey, listen, I try to keep it above board. Now, I ain't saying I ain't deserve to go, but I ain't ever get there. That's all I'm saying.
We got Pariah in the building. The community Padron hater. Driver? But I know we didn't plan on being too long. We got an hour and a half out. You know, time just goes quick.
Oh yeah. Yep. Shout out to you, Jay Coleman. I see everybody out here. Cole Rice, Greg Anderson, Rick Z, my man Zuhatere. What's going on? I think I said that right, but I might have said it wrong. AMR. Who else we got here? Leon Moore, Jock Lewis. What's going on, Jock? Creator of the Boundless Universe. That's like one of my favorite screen names. I love that one.
Yes, sir.
Jordan B.
My man Holy in the building.
Holy fuck, I see you, baby. They don't even say your name correctly and right, but I see you, baby. Foul Scorp 3, I see you. Billy the All-Star, I think he out of here, but he was around earlier. Shout out to Ethan Porter. Suburbaners. I don't know. He was saying something that our we call it moderator was like, hell no. But shout out to you, brother.
Man, and Pariah said him and the missus is in St. Lucia puffing a cigar. Hey, that's good. Y'all stay safe and enjoy y'all's trip, man.
I like that. AD was around. Mystical Gent for sure. What's going on, Paul Rayner? What's going on, Paul? A lot of folks out here. Kerry King, what's going on, brother Kerry? I see you. Andre Barrett, I see you, baby.
Big Drake.
T Money, me, and Savage 3390.
I tell you what, on this Parker, this that we're gonna start. I'm gonna dub this cowboy water.
What's that?
This Parker, this stuff, some strong stuff here, boy.
Wait, hold that up. What is that again?
120.
Okay. My little
that's cowboy water. We call it ranch water.
Yeah, my little punk ass 100.
No, it ain't either. You drink enough of it, you gonna feel like a punk.
I ain't saying that one little punk ass bottle and bond 100 proof.
Which one is what you got, the single barrel or the small batch over there?
Small batch.
That's honestly one of my favorite. Like if somebody said I can only pick 4 bourbons to take around for the rest of my life, like that probably would be one of them.
It's good, but I'm gonna tell you one though that I do like. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I gotta reach up to the shelf. This Garrison Brothers.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while since I had this.
Yeah, that's I listen, it's Texas whiskey. It ain't no bourbon, but they call it bourbon, but from Texas. 94 proof. That's nice. Just a little boot flash. You know, you throw that down in your boot. You chill.
Yeah, so if you had four spirits you could choose, and you had to pick four kinds of spirit, it could be stuff you don't have or whatever. 4 spirits, and these were the only 4 you could drink the rest of your time. What you think you have in there?
Particulars?
Just you can have whatever they say. Hey, what you just say? Money ain't no object.
Now, first one's gonna surprise you, right?
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go with a good bottle of moonshine.
Okay.
That's gonna be it.
Okay.
And
the homemade moonshine, not the stuff they sell in the store. Yeah.
Not the stuff in the store. Probably out of North Carolina, maybe Mississippi, maybe. I don't know. I gotta have a rum.
Yep.
So I'm gonna probably go with the Diplomatic Coast. That's not that expensive.
Right.
Rum. I gotta have a scotch.
So you thinking like me? I'm gonna touch a lot of regions if I'm gonna have to only have 4.
Yeah, I gotta have a scotch, and I probably would go with maybe a Kilhoman's. I don't know.
Okay, I like that. Yeah,
I'm gonna go with a Kilhoman's, and then just for difference, because I gotta put a gin in there as well. I'm not a big gin drinker, but I'm gonna throw a gin in there.
That's a tough one. I like you. I think I'm gonna have to jump around. I think for my bourbon, like I said, I go Colonel Taylor, and it's not the best bourbon I've ever had, but it has enough flavor. It has enough power. That way, if I want to water it down and make it weaker, I can. It's still good. So and it's a very, when it's priced right, it's affordable. So I probably would jump that for bourbon. I'd probably do, like I said, I do a scotch. So I think I'd probably do an Isla. So I'd probably do a Lagavulin 16 for scotch. I want to do a rum. So I'd probably do maybe, there's one I used to drink a lot. I don't even know if they still make it. It was by Foursquare. It was a Cabernet finish one, I think. I'd probably do a Foursquare rum. So I got scotch, rum, bourbon, and I'd probably do, I'm gonna throw you in for a wrench. I'd probably just do Austin Hope. I'd probably do a red wine.
Okay.
That way, if I ain't want nothing too crazy, I could still drink, and I could drink it with food and stuff like that.
Austin Hope ain't bad. Austin Hope ain't bad.
Yeah.
We got the Zacapa out here, Eagle Rare, Roses, Chef's Reason.
Boy, Billy going for that rock gut.
Yeah, man. Listen, I got a bottle up here. Hey,
Billy, shout out to you, brother.
Shout out to you. Hey, listen, I got a bottle of Maker's Mark here. I probably had this bottle 12 years, man.
I drank a lot of Maker's Mark in college.
Hey, listen, I brought this from my wife's house in Philly. That shit is so rough, man. It's so rough. I can't do it, man.
Maker's Mark, Jack Daniels, Jaeger, and whatever vodka I can get my hands on. That was it. I won't drink it anymore unless it's in a cocktail. If somebody make it in a good, I can't drink it at the bottle no more. I can't do it. I think I'd throw up if I smelled it.
Yeah. It's that sour mash, right? So I didn't understand what a sour mash was, and I didn't understand why it was so cheap.
Yep.
That sour mash is just the used up grains and stuff, and they just backing it back and throwing some more yeast on it, you know?
I'm gonna tell you a sleeper though with Jack Daniels. They make a single barrel cask strength. Now I don't know what it costs now. Back in a couple years ago, it used to be like $60 a bottle.
Right.
Now that stuff was good. Now that was good. But yeah, no, I agree, Billy. You definitely old school. You been throwing that Chivas Regal in there. You old school.
That
Crown
Chivas,
and the OG Crown Royal.
Crown Royal.
I'm gonna tell y'all I'm gonna tell y'all in the chat too. If you ever see this stuff out, grab it because I don't think they make it anymore. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. Crown Royal made one called Northern Harvest Rye. It doesn't drink like regular Crown Royal. It's actually a really good whiskey. And it won Jim Murray's whiskey of the year that year, which most of the time it's kind of like Cigar Aficionado. They win that stuff and it's kind of gimmicky. It's like, whatever. But that Crown Royal actually was really good. And I think they discontinued it. And when I had a honey hole that was selling it for like $15 a fifth.
Oh man.
I think I bought like 4 or 5 of them and just you know what's funny? I don't drink Crown Royal, and I would pour that and give it to them like, what you think? Man, this ain't half bad. It's Crown Royal. No, what the purple bag? I'm like, no, it's a different one, but it's made by Crown Royal. It just drinks that much different.
Yeah, man. Shout out to you, Rodney.
Big Ollie, what's going on? Rodney in the building.
Big O, I see you, Ollie Stevens. I see you, baby.
Yeah.
And listen, my dog is down here growling at me like, hey, yo, bro, can I get a bone and cannot go to bed? Like, you holding me up here. She's like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, I said, we call it a night because I'm gonna go eat some dinner, take me a shower, lay down too. So, but
yeah,
you know me, I always enjoy my time up here. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it too, man. It's just like I said, it's a decompression for us, and hopefully, like I said, my man Pariah over there enjoying his vacation too. So hopefully, like I said, this is a decompression for you guys to the end of the week. Got some football going on. Football started yesterday.
Hey, we had our first game out there, you know. How about them Cowboys?
Oh man. You know, I'm not a Cowboys hater or fan. I will say this though, Dak looks pretty good to be coming back from the injury he did.
I thought Tampa Bay and I thought the Cowboys both looked good. I thought both teams looked pretty good, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's crazy. Tom is 44, huh?
I know, bro. He is.
He out there outballing them 20-year-olds.
He's a machine.
Father Time undefeated. I'm still sitting here looking like, man, this dude outballing these people that got 2 or 3 years in the league, man.
Oh yeah.
His timing is still good. He still got a decent arm as far as length. Like, man, I wouldn't be surprised if he was like LeBron and puts over $1 million in his body a year. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anything you want to lead the family with?
Hey, listen, today is another great day. Every day is a great day. It's not just something that you say because you have to say it. It's something you say because you want to have a great day. I say every day you got to say today is another great day. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between the truth and the lie. It don't cost you nothing to say it. You don't have to put an offering in the collection plate. You don't have to go nowhere. You don't have to do nothing before you get out of bed. You say, you know what? Today is going to be another great day. Now, I say it every day for 14 years. This is my 14th year of saying it. And I can tell you that it works for me. But you ain't got to listen to me. Listen to the people that follow me and say, you know what? I started saying it too. I thought Lee Mac 912 was full of shit, but you know what? It really did start making a difference in my life. So every day you got to start it by saying today is another great day. You say that before you get out of bed, because you might get out of bed and stub your toe and then you'll be off to a bad start. So you got to say it right away. So I appreciate everybody for coming by and hanging out with us. You know, it's not lost on me that y'all take your time on a Friday night to hang out with a couple of brothers that's just rambling on about random subjects and random topics, and we go from one to the next. But I always appreciate hanging out with my nephew. I always appreciate seeing my nephew on screen. I'm going to be looking forward to when he and Eric get their thing cranked back up again, because I still predict that his channel is going to pass my channel.
I don't know about that.
Someday in the near future. I still predict it. That's the way it's going to go. I'm putting it out there in the atmosphere because I see it there. When that does happen, I'm going to grab the baton and I'm going to do like this and I'm going to just pass it on. I'm going to say, you know, when you run a track, you say, go!
Yeah.
Stick! And I'm like, Ron, put your hand back. Here comes the stick, baby. Ah, go ahead.
We're going to be Team Jamaica from them 2012 Olympics.
No, not like that.
No, I enjoy it too. And like I said, it's still a great experience for me too. Like I say it all the time. I remember watching my first Lee Make 912 video. So to be able to found the friendship and then flourished and nurtured the friendship and see where it's grown and know where it's heading to. I don't take any of it for granted. I don't take any of you guys taking the time out for watching the content, no matter what it is. I'm very appreciative of all you guys, appreciative of the patrons that are a part of me. Y'all have been more than understanding with me and Eric and some things that we have going on. So in that, I know that you guys are genuine and wanting to see me do well and watching me grow. So really appreciative of that. Not gonna make this really long and sappy, but we enjoy you guys tuning into the show. We'll see you guys next week, man. Y'all know the name of the game is relaxation and enjoyment. Don't forget to be driven, never motivated. Y'all be good. Have a safe weekend. We love y'all. Y'all take care.
Peace.
Peace.